Do you need more weapons for your Master Grade wing kits? Of course you do, and I've got the thing you need right here. This is the Master Grade Endless Waltz Expansion Parts Set. As you can tell from that monochromatic box, this is a premium Bandai exclusive only. So if you find it hard to find, you can find it exactly where I found mine, and that is at BUYEE. Link in the description. Okay, so first off, checking exactly what we get inside of this box, and we do have some images first. This is what we get. So these are a bunch of add-on accessories for 3 different kits, which we'll talk about in a minute. It says we also have water slides in here too, which is always very, very nice. Get that out of the way. And there are said water slides. That is a lot. That is a crazy amount of water slides just for some add-on parts. So anyway, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of runners in here. So the instructions here say which kits we are going to be using with this, and that, of course, is the Deathscythe Hell EW, the Altron Gundam EW, as well as the Tallgeese. And from what I can see in the box here, this must be a misprint or something like that, because it's some kind of odd-looking Tallgeese with weird eye makeup, and the color seems to be off a bit. I don't recognize this. I don't know what this is. It says here, Tallgeese 2, never heard of it. All I know is the Tallgeese, Tallgeese F, and Tallgeese 3. Again, must be a typo. So that right there is absolutely everything we've got once we've got this box cracked open and built. Now this doesn't take that long to build as you'd expect, but these are straight built. So that does mean no pan lines today to bring out the nice detail that is on these. And sadly, I did not have time to water decal all of these up. So, you know, that will make them look a whole lot more fancy than they're looking right here. I will also mention there are a couple of color correcting stickers in here. These are for using over here on this sword, but we'll get to that, well, when we're getting to that. And as for what we've got in here, we've got a back expansion for the Altron, and double beam side and 2 buster shields for the Deathscythe Hell, and a pretty kick-ass sword for a Tallgeese that I haven't figured out what it is yet. So now let's check them all out, one at a time. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is the backpack unit for using with the Altron. So as for the build of this little segment, if you've already your Altron built like I do right here, that does mean there will be a little bit of disassembly. The disassembly will be up at the shoulders as well as around in the backpack. At the shoulders, what you're doing is you're swapping out a green inner segment for a yellow one. So now we've got a bit of a yellow line and detail around the shoulder. Instead of it all being green and white, it's now green, yellow, and white. We also get some more of this yellow detailing for down on the forearms. So these little bits, tiny little bits, just slot into these little slots. Now, if you find it hard to grab tiny little pieces like these and insert them where you need to put them, I've got a little bit of a trick I use that might be useful to you. I get my file and a bit of blue tack and then stick the piece to the blue tack on the end of the file and use that then to just push it into the slot you need to get it into. It works for me all the time, and it's really handy for tiny pieces. Then around onto the backpack, and we do have to modify the Altron's actual backpack a little bit. So once again, if you've your Altron built, then you will have to take this apart. If you're doing a fresh build, then you just have to follow the instructions at the right time. As in, the instructions in this manual, follow them at the right time in the Altron manual. When you've that completed, then it's time to build the little segmented segment for the beam cannon, and then we've got a pair of wings in here. It's like every single wing mobile suit is getting some wings now, and I totally approve of that. And what we end up with is this little combination of wings and the beam cannon up top. You know, if this was Gundam build fighters or something like this would fly around on its own as an actual unit on its own, but that isn't the case here. Just set up those wings, and then you just attach this into the backpack hole. So the only difference to this backpack now that we've changed out the parts is the hole is a little wider for this to attach in just like so. I'll also mention there is this circular little segment on the left wing. This is for attaching the beam trident onto, if you want to, the one that came with the Altron. So there is a quick spin of the Altron, what it will look like once it is completed using these parts. So once again, the only real differences on the actual mobile suit itself is the yellow that is now up on the shoulders and the yellow down at the wrists. Besides that, everything else that is new is around in the backpack, and let's check it out now. So jumping around to the wings around back, first off we have that beam cannon. This has a whole bunch of joints which is really nice to move. I mean, this is serpentine as hell. Beats them by far. I'm actually going to pop this off so we can see everything that it can do. And like I mentioned, there's 2 points of articulation between each of these, so that can really roll up. When this is up on the back, it just twists around at the bottom there to aim over the head. And the wings can actually transform ever so slightly. So they just pop open and then re-click into position up here. So you can see from that mode to this mode. So once again, attaching this on is as simple as popping that in there, like so. So the wings here do have some articulation. They can move out and in like so, as well as swing up just like that. Now those are pretty damn cool. On to the next one. So up next, we've got some parts for the Deathscythe Hell. And I'm going to mention right off the bat, I don't know what happened to my Deathscythe Hell, but I've always found the Master Grade EW kits to be rock solid, but this has gone so floppy and breaky, it's not even funny. This was just left back into the box, and he's got a bit of an affliction. He's not doing okay at all. But anyway, as for what we get for the Deathscythe Hell in this box, we've got a pair of brand new, beautiful Buster Shields, and this absolute beast of a scythe. So first up, when it comes to the build of the scythe, funnily enough, the instructions assume you have the scythe built already, unlike with the Altron where they thought you were building a new one. Either way, all you have to do is remove a bunch of parts off your scythe. All you need is the stick segment. Then you pop on these two sandwich segments, which changes it into the double beam scythe. You pop a part back on up top that came off the original scythe you just had, and then you get one new beam effect in this box for attaching to this absolutely crazy weapon. Next up in here, we've got two versions of those Buster Shields. Now, these are pretty much very similar to what we would have seen with the standard version of the Master Grade Deathscythe. I will mention, sadly, there are no beam effect parts for using with these. That would have been quite cool to get two more big old, massive, vigorous green beams in here, but we didn't get them. These build up quite nicely. They look very nice. I will mention the red plastic does mark quite easily, so take your time with that. And probably the worst aspect about these cool new Buster Shield segments, these are actually side skirts, so that's a little different under here. Well, the bad aspect is you have to use this segment that came right off of the Deathscythe Hell. And I don't know if you've ever built any of these kits, but if you have, you may know that these side skirting attachment segments are absolute arse. So if you turn them sideways whatsoever, they automatically disconnect and just reject right off of the kit. So popping that, what did I rank this kit? Better been fucking bronze. Whew, yeah, the worst side skirting design ever in the world ever award goes to the Deathscythe, or in general these EW kits. Anyway, that's what it looks like attached down there, and it can do next to nothing really but just kind of hang out, because if you try to move it forward to give someone a bit of the business end, it just falls off. But speaking of the business end, that does open up just like we would have seen before. Pull one side, the other side opens, and that is a nice little clippy clipper right there for clipping your enemies who are maybe, I don't know, like down on the side of your leg, because that's the only way, the only place that it points is down to the side of his leg. The instructions say here that it can swing up to do the clippy, but I can tell you that they most certainly cannot. Try and swing this up and all it does is fall off. That's that one. Here's this one. Man. Woo! Deathscythe. You need some glue. Anyway, the Deathscythe is having some major issues, so I'm just gonna leave him over there while we talk about this beast. So anyway, that right there is what the scythe looks like. This is crazy. I'm just gonna slide the Altron in there for scale. Just leave him right there, and you can see this is an absolutely massive weapon. The same general size as the regular beam scythe. I assume you can turn this off while using it and just use one beam, or use the other one up top. So these do not swing, in case you think like the standard Deathscythe that they can swing down and up, they cannot. You just have a big long attacky, the regular attacky, or the double thing. I'm not even going to try to attempt to put it into poor Deathscythe hell here. He's not okay. But I won't entirely leave you guys using your imaginations. I've got this here Deathscythe that I've had for a decent decade at this point, and this one's doing perfect. I have no idea what is going on with hell over there. Anyway, to attach this, just those swappable style fingers, pop them in, and then just pop them into the hand like so, and this absolute rock star of a kit can hold on to it no bother. And that right there is what that double beam scythe looks like attached onto the standard version of Deathscythe. It will look the same on the Deathscythe Hell as well, and it's thrown over the shoulder in that typical Deathscythe kind of way. Looking pretty cool, and actually, if something works on Deathscythe Hell, it should work on Deathscythe as well. So let's pop this side skirt on. The colors actually still match quite well in case you're considering getting this kit for using with a Deathscythe, not the Hell. So pop that on, and that actually looks pretty badass. I think I prefer that. I think I prefer that a lot. And now with the Master Grade Deathscythe Hell on its way to Gunpla Hospital, it's time to check out the very last thing we've gotten here, which is the equipment for using with one of the Tallgeeses, which doesn't seem to be the Tallgeese 1, or the 3, or the Flugel. So I'm confused. So I've been trying my damnedest to figure out what it says here inside the box as to what kit to use this with. So it says expansion parts set for Tallgeese and some kind of weird symbol that I don't recognize. Could be like some kind of difficult kanji or some kind of hieroglyphic or something that just, I don't know, but... So the only kit that is in the standard Tallgeese or the Flugel or the Tallgeese 3 that I know of is this one right here, the Tallgeese P. The P is for his nice pantsuit right there. So I guess this is the one we're just going to be going with today. So this right here is what we get inside the box, which is a holster, hand, and that kick-ass sword. As for the build here, everything is pretty much straightforward, very, very nice I might add. You do need 2 parts from the Tallgeese to actually finish off the little holster segment. It does replace the part that holds on the Tallgeese's shield. And when it comes to the actual sword, this is the only thing that does require a couple of stickers. They're just a couple of gold ones that do look okay. This has a whole bunch of different colors on it. The yellow of the middle section and the guard. We've got some dark gray, light gray, and the white of the blade. The blade is made up out of 2 different segments, which is quite interesting. One slots over the other, and this would actually make it quite simple to paint the blade in 2 different colors, which is cool. So this new segment right here, all it does is change this part to have this extra peg hole to attach this scabbard into. That then just attaches into the Tallgeese the way it would have before, like so. Whoa, not you too, Tallgeese, not you too. This sword that we get in here is absolutely gargantuan. When you put it beside the Tallgeese there, it's even more tall than geese. Interestingly enough, the sword doesn't actually go down the top of the scabbard, it goes up the bottom. So it goes up like so and then clips in quite well, I might add. So I assume when this is required, it just swings forward like so that can be grabbed with this arm, something like that there. Again, that just pops out of the scabbard like so. We've got a hand in here that's included in this add-on kit specifically for using with this thick shaft. That just pops on there and there like so. Looking pretty good. It is the same color as the shaft, so I guess that's usually the case. And then that should pop into the arm like this. If I ever figure out what that weird symbol or hieroglyphic is, I might just get the kit for using this with. And that's a kick-ass sword. Man, that's something the Tallgeese always needed. Look at that. Beautiful. And yeah, I'm talking about its pants, not its sword. Sword's pretty rad too, though. So yeah, jumping back to that question I asked at the beginning of the video, do you need some extra armaments for your Gundam Wing Endless Waltz Master Grades? Then this might be something you're looking for, especially if you love the Glory of Losers, because that is what these particular weapons and designs are based on. Do you need an Altron with big wings and a beam cannon over its head? Do you need a double beam scythe and 2 extra buster shields for using with your Deathscythe Hell? And do you need a kick-ass sword for your Tallgeese? Then maybe you want this kit. As usual, I will drop a link down there in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, I will see you next time. Thank you so much to each and every one of you guys for watching these videos. Without you, this channel would not be possible. And my special thanks to those helping out over on the channel memberships and over on Patreon. So that includes Craig Jerry, Caleb Engelhardt, Sean T. Van Fawn, Global Frequency Studios, Lauren Seahack, Joseph Kuklunk, Mr. Winter, Forsetti, Joe, and Orgy 59061.